Welcome to the show. This half hour of the show is going to be dedicated to the school board's decision on closing down the varsity gym here in Flower Bluff, and their decision to that's going to be based on their decision. But first, let's get right to the COVID cases. Here in Oasis County, 18,664 cases total, with 348 deaths. And here in this state, we have a total of 634,000 cases plus 3,762. We have 12,753 deaths plus 154. None recovered here in the United States. Worldwide, 60.2 million recovered. And Harris County is doing a bad job about this. Dallas County is getting close. Again, wear a mask as always. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything, because it is 1 o'clock in the fucking morning. So, yeah, just wear a mask, stand 6 feet apart, and sanitize, wash your hands. Now let's get into the very latest on that case that happened. 3 days ago, the Flower Bluff School Board streamed live on Zoom talking about all the other issues. Like the other meeting, months ago, they made a decision to not give teachers a raise because they wouldn't get enough money. That's where this comes in. 3 days ago, they decided to shut down the varsity gym, the steps, because of a safety issue. When I first heard of this, I went over to see for myself. And that got me thinking. Because of safety issues. And there has not been a safety issue. There wasn't a safety issue. In my 5 years of performing there, going on top of the steps from Flower Bluff, I have never done this before. Never. And never in my 5 years. There has not been a single accident in 5 years. Never. After parts of the meeting, I had to shut it off for a reason, because I wasn't in support of this. If you want to see the full meeting about this, then I will put the link in the description below, as well as on our website, jcarbon67.wixsite.com/givemeabreak. After that, well, let's get into the question I had. And by the way, this video will also be posted on the Facebook group, Flower Bluff, so this is for all the Flower Bluff out there. Okay, now sorry. So this is the question for you. This is the question I polled all Flower Bluff. It says, have you and or your children ever had an accident from leaving/entering a volleyball/basketball game, falling down the steps? And also, do you support the school board's decision on this? In that poll, 28% said they never had an accident. 9% said no. 1% said yes. Now, this comes before, they closed it down the day after the meeting. And mind you, before they closed, I took a walk up there the other day. And it didn't seem safe. It seemed safe to walk on. If I were to have test dummies from the board to try it out for themselves, then we would get some unexpected results. When it was first built, what are they gonna? One of the board members asked if they could just have the varsity games at the Manaski gym, because the varsity gyms are right by the stadium, And the Renowski gym is across the street next to Central Kitchen and the administration building. Here's my theory on this. My theory is that why not have the JV go to the junior high gym? And then the varsity can do their games at the Renowski gym. It's a win-win situation, but then the board's like, nope. And it's like, well, there could be another route to this, like the downstairs entrance to the bleachers as you get to the second level. They're trying to fix that lift that's up there. And when that lift is fixed, we could see it happen, but sports is going to happen again in 2 weeks with the start of volleyball and football. So what I would do if I were you, I would just come up with a safety plan and run some tests. That's what I would do if I were you. If I was a board member, I would ask if we would conduct some tests for parents and children to make sure that they would not fall down the steps. As a matter of fact, on Monday, I'm going to confront the board president with that question and this poll. So if you have any questions or concerns about this, you are welcome to do so. I mean, we need to get this. We gotta reopen that we gotta reopen the varsity gym or have a safety plan measure in place. Put up a sign that says, "Please go downstairs." But I think it's a safety issue for all parents and children. Like, what if they go to the basketball game, dribble, and all of a sudden the ball hits a child in the face? There you go. He's unconscious. Same thing to the parent. Dribble, pass the ball, bam, hits the parent in the head. Unconscious. Child gets in an accident, that would be a thing for the school district. This happened after the board said about a month or two ago that they weren't going to give teachers raises because they told the teachers, well, we don't have enough money. Here's what I would have done. We want those teachers to get their raises. And like, well, how do we do so? Usual, like we do bake sales, cookie sales. As a matter of fact, that's what I plan on doing. Cookie sales. I had a food permit at McDonald's. I can start selling cookies on the McDonald's property at the McDonald's property or at the school property. They asked me, do you have a food permit? Like, I have my food handler's permit at McDonald's. You can ask them if the police will be asking me. But is it illegal? I mean, in Texas, you need a permit. I have a food handler's permit at McDonald's. Does that count? Well, yes. For McDonald's, for all fast food restaurants, I mean, that should do. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the gate. Why do they say, okay, we're going to shut it down in the morning? So after that meeting, the day after, they put gates in it to close it down. That came after. And they worked with Progressive and the other insurance companies to make sure of this. I mean, this was after the bids. And those bids, as I remember, from that meeting, they held their meetings on Zoom. And I mean, listen. This was all part of Flower Bluff's plan for the bond that they always going to do. They started out by building. They started out by building everything for the students, like the junior high gym and the pool and the auditorium. But two things come into mind: the bus garage. That was a waste of our tax dollars. So was, and now this. It's a waste of our tax dollars. How is that going to help the students? I mean, look, school spending has now tripled over the past a lot of years. We now spend a lot of money. If you look at a graph, the line will show you much more money, no improvements. What do we get? Fancy new schools, more assistant principals, more building, but student learning? No. If you look at the graph, it goes flat. Much more money, no improvements. If you're going to have that money, you need to help out the students. How is we building the varsity gym going to help out all students? Well, if I ask them the same question, they're going to be like, it's going to help improve safety. This person brought up that point. That was $500,000. $250 fucking dollars to rebuild that entrance. That was the point. That was one of the reasons. So they just went up to the kitchen and said, oh, we're not going to do this because I'll tell you about that when we return. So, we're talking about the issue here, the reason why teachers were not getting raises. And that was because of closing down the steps and remodeling it. That was the whole point. So the school board members went up to the teacher and said, look, we can't give you raises because we're going to spend over $500,000 rebuilding those steps. And as I watched part of the board, I mean, it's a safety issue. Someone falls, claims get over the district, and then they lose a lot of money. I mean, we pay taxes, and some of those tax dollars go to the schools. We need to do something about this. What we need to do is come up with a plan. So, I'm going to play this for you. I can't do that because copyright issues and someone's asleep. And for those who live in the Flower Bluff area, there are two main entrances. 2 or 3. The first one's up top. That's what they closed. The second entrance is down the steps. And if you go down the steps, you have to take a left. But if you park towards the front entrance, you would have to walk there, then take a left. And then you have to walk up the steps to the bleachers or use the lift. Then how are people going to pay for their tickets? They're just going to walk up there and then get the tickets. What about the concession stands? What if someone wants to go get the food? Everyone walks in, get their food. All of a sudden it comes tumbling down like, whoa! I mean, There was two main entrances. But there were two bleachers. The other side, the left-hand side represents the away team. The other side represents the home. So if you go to that side, you would go up the steps to the second level. And there are the stairs. I mean, you go towards there, you go up the steps. What if you want to leave? Same thing. Get out your bleachers, and then you go down the stairs. You go out the downstairs entrance. But the question is, does that create fiery issues? I mean, that's the problem, as Javier said. But what about the virus? I mean, they are 6 feet apart. We have to have people stay 6 feet apart, minimum of 10 people. 10 people on the bottom, 10 people up top. Same thing. And those two sets of staircases are bad, as he said. And they have been struggling to get that lift elevator thing to take them to the second level. They've been struggling with that. But the sports are going to happen in about another 2 weeks. I mean, traditionally there have been pep rallies at the varsity gym. And my point is, I mean, if you're going to move it to the tennis courts, would it be possible if it's a safety issue, like hot days, mosquitoes? What's that question for you when we return? Jeff Frank, one of the also members of the Flower Lab School Board, had a very important question. That important question was, would it be possible moving into the varsity gym? As I said earlier, you have 3 gyms counting, you have 2 other gyms counting the varsity gym. You have the Renowski gym, then you have the 2 junior high gyms. The first junior high is connected to the school, which were PE and locker rooms. Then you have the other one that's connected. So, let's hear about the answers. Let's hear the answers. I mean, yes, Joe Kelly's right, it is tough. It wasn't, I don't think it's tough. It's really easy. I mean, like I said before, you have JV and junior high going to the junior high gym. Then you can have you still have the junior high gym. Junior high doing their junior high games, and then you can move the varsity and the JV there, or go the other way around. It's a 2-case scenario, and traditionally, that the varsity gym has been in place for all of the varsity games. Sometimes the JV. So they said, nope, it's impossible. Right. Right. What about the concession stands? Are they going to be on the bottom too? No one knows. I mean, usually the tickets are on top of the top level. Then the concession stands the other top level. The right-hand side is the ticket thing, and then the left-hand side provides the concession stands. I mean, now the other issue is bathrooms. The bathrooms on the top level, what are you going to have them do? Go pee in the public area? I mean, go pee outside? You could be under arrest for public urination. And when the police ask you, why would you urinate on there? Because, well, the school board said they're going to remodel the whole top level here, so I decided to go pee outside. And then the district would be concerned or get suspicious. They'd have an emergency board meeting and say, look, we're in trouble here. Because some idiot decided to pee outside. Right. All right. And everyone, so at the end, they said, we're not going to make another bid. So probably at the end, so that's what the board decided. Everyone decided not to make another bids, and so the project might be happening soon, but the sports, they don't know what else is going to happen. We're going to have more details as this progresses and give you the latest updates as they progresses. And I'll be back in a moment with a closing thought. So what else is going to happen from what you heard tonight? Well, the board made a motion to reject all bids because of all this. They need to get some work done on this. So this episode is not being rude to the board. What I'm saying to the board is they made a huge mistake on this because, first of all, a really bad reason is say we can't give you raise because we're going to work on the thing. That's a bit harsh. That's going to drive the teachers insane. I mean, they get paid a lot. I mean, teachers get paid like $100,000, $200,000 enough. I mean, the principal makes a lot, and the superintendents don't make enough. And from what you heard tonight, basically, it's what's going to happen. But what about all the other places? What do the coaches have to say about this? They haven't been able to hear this, but I'm going to get some reaction to what the coaches hear on this, and then probably give you some up-to-date information, like I said earlier. I'm going to talk to the coaches, I'm going to talk to the volleyball players, have their thoughts about this, and give you the very latest as the story progresses. So we'll watch out for that. Next week on our show, it's our Workplace Confidential series where all topics are happening in the workplace, such as sex in the office, office tantrums, any type of office topic. That's next week on Give Me a Break. And that's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Saturday, going into Sunday. We'll see you again for Give Me a Break Sunday. For all of us here, take care of yourself and each other. Good night.